Okay, let me pull it up on my phone so I can check. Got it. Oh, yeah, awesome. It is working. Winner, 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 winner. Awesome. So let me see my Kris. It is in the group. Hi, everybody. It's Demi. Oh, and I can also hear my own voice. That's not so great now, is it?
It's like, is that a double Demi? They're getting a double Demi for the price of one.
Ooh, kinky, Kris. Okay,
You
so
know me.
hi everyone. I'm Demelza Fox from Rockstar Priestess, and we're here today to do a fabulous talk called BIZ Priestess Activation. And I'm also here with my wonderful, wonderful friend, Kris Oster. Is it Kris Oster or Kris Seraphine Oster now? You have so many names.
Well, it's Kris Seraphine now because Oster was my married name, and sometimes I say I'm Kris Seraphine Oster so people can make the connection. But yeah, Kris Seraphine.
Kris Seraphine.
It all works.
Like the
Call me Mama Kris.
Mama Kris. And
yeah.
we're here today to tell you. I'm going to stick my little headphones on so you don't get double feed. Boom. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Cool. We're here today to talk to you about business. What do we love, Kris? We love business, don't we?
We do. We do. We love business. Well, we have all that Capricorn, right?
We're very Capricorny ladies, me and Kris. And we're both big goddess women. I run the Morgan Le Fay Mystery School and Rockstar Priestess. Kris is a goddess channel, and she's had this unbelievable career that I've known Kris for maybe, I don't know, like 9 years. I don't know how long we've known each other now. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And every now and again,
like grew up in business together in some ways, right?
We did. Every now and again, I'll learn a tidbit about Kris's past when she ran giant goddess festivals, or when she was drumming with Lane Redmond, and all this amazing goddess lineage that Kris has, which is incredible. So she's an amazing woman to have with us to really deepen into business and priestessing. So today in our class, we just really want to talk about how to do business the priestess way. And if you're here live, please do say hi in the comments so we can see you. If you have any questions at any point, please just pop them in. And if you are watching the replay, just message us with stuff. We're around. Pop in our groups or just reply to the email you received this in and ask us questions. We're always about to. And in this class today, we're going to go through the big reframe you need to do as a priestess to be able to do business in a way that makes you happy rather than makes you very, very sad. And we want to talk about money and why it is important as spiritual women for money, because there's all this shit about money being bad and evil, isn't there, Kris, that we all have to kind of deal with. And we're going to tell you probably the big sabotagey things that we see a lot of women coming to us dealing with. And I really wanted to have this conversation and bring in Kris, particularly Kris, because she has been my guiding. She was my first business coach. She was the woman who gave me the confidence to be able to do and create this Rockstar Priestess empire. Without her, I would probably still be a struggling professional mermaid. And for me, in my clients, I see so many women coming to me for the next part of their priestess training. And the next part of priestess training is always business training. Because once you do your priestess training, once you've stepped up into your calling as a priestess and a witch and someone of sacred service, then you got to figure out how to do your sacred service. And to do that, you have to learn how business and marketing works. And that's tough for a lot of us witchy folk, because we are so soul-led and heart-driven, and we plunge into the world of business and marketing, and it feels very hard and pushy and salesy, and we all do this. Right? Hi, Bronwyn. Hi, Avery. So we just want to talk a little bit about the big reframe we need to have when we're coming into business from a priestess lens. Okay, so everyone who's listening to this is a magical person, a magical woman, a magical being, and we have dedicated a lot of our lives to doing the divine work. Like, I'm a priestess because I have a deep connection to the divine, and I want to keep doing that and sharing that with everybody. And I'm a writer and a performer, so I became a goddess writer and a ceremonialist. Tell me about you, Kris. What's your sacred service in the world?
Wow. Well, it has expanded, but I think for me, it's always been goddess. Even from like when I go back and look at before I knew what that really meant, I was totally doing this work. You know, in business, for those of you who don't know me, I basically began, I was a massage therapist, body worker, and I was a musician. And that was in my 20s into my early 30s. And then I made a pivot because I was married to this bloke who thought I should have a real job. Darling, shouldn't you have like a real office job? He was from Britain too. He was a Brit. So that accent was his accent. And I was like, okay, sure, you know, just like some drummer hippie chick, whatever. And we lived down the street from the E building, E Entertainment Television on Wilshire. It was this giant building with an E on it. And I was always watching the E channel and all the crazy gossipy stuff about the stars in Hollywood. So that's when I became a marketer, I guess you could say. And I was a producer and, you know, helped with promotions and all kind international shoots, all kinds of stuff. That was back in the Stone Ages. I don't remember what year. But anyways, I had a love-hate relationship with marketing for many years as a professional because, you know, who wants to be in a cubicle 9 to 5? Nobody. I don't care. I mean, we all want the stability, right? And that's, you know, so we get these jobs, we do these things, and then we realize I need my freedom. I've got a, you know, I'm able to provide this much service when I really want to do this much service, and I want it to be sacred. So I think in 2012 was the official year I finally broke out of the cubicle, so to speak. So that was almost 10 years ago. And that was probably close to the time I met you, was probably 2013 or something, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been doing the entrepreneur thing and author priestessing thing for 9 years exclusively, which has been a huge paradigm shift. And that's, I think, why we want to talk to all of you today about that, because a lot of you started there. Maybe you didn't start in corporate, right? You just started right here, and we want to help lift you up so you make the money and can really support yourself and your family and thrive doing your priestess work, your sacred work in the world.
Yeah, 100%. And let's talk about money for a second, because when we're spiritual women coming into this, okay, we have to be real. We're in a capitalist world, and we are in the modern world. We're not in some magical past world where people would come to our little cabin in the woods with a bushel of grain to get us through the month. No, to survive, we need money. And being honest, especially as my business in particular is growing to a level where I can't do everything on my own and I have to hire help now, we need money in order to keep the business running. Money is so important. And we are up against so much junk from the past, both from that old sneaky like Catholic Church Christian, oh, money is bad, you should be meek, Jesus had no money, you should have my money. Then they're running off with all your gold to the Vatican to spend it on lavish oil paintings and things. Yeah, we have all that guilt from spirituality, and we also have all this huge amount of guilt from growing up in the world as women, and that heavy cultural consciousness stuff that is hanging around and that still weighs on us today about what we're allowed to do as women and how we're allowed to step up and how we're allowed to serve and how seen we're allowed to be and if we're allowed to have money. And it's all about our value, right? And this is a thing that we see a lot of women and that we went through. Like I went through this for my entire 20s. I'm a very slow learner. I really don't want you guys to have to be as slow at learning this stuff as I was. We have this chronic problem with valuing ourselves and putting a monetary worth on what we do, because we have this feeling like it's bad, especially as spiritual people. We have a feeling like charging for what we do is bad. So we undercharge and we overgive and we just completely martyr ourselves for our business and our clients. And this is just playing into the old pattern of what it means to be a woman in a patriarchal society, right? That's all it is. We're following that old story of the little wife who gets married and then sacrifices herself for her entire family, for her husband, for her father, for her children, and has nothing of her own. And we perpetuate this in our spiritual businesses because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're hippie drama women and we want to be doing ceremony and working with people, and that's the bit that we're so good at and that's where we shine. All this stuff around it we're unsure about, so we just slip into this old paradigm of being the martyr lady who never gets what she wants, and it just sticks. And the thing with money is you need it in order to do a good job as a priestess. I remember years ago when Kris was really helping me up level in my business, and I was getting to the point where I was like, right, I need to make Morgan Le Fay Mystery School. It's been kicking around in my brain for a while. And Morgan Le Fay Mystery School is my priestess training school. And I was creating the first year then, and I was freaking my shit because stepping up into that level of being, yes, I have something to say, that's a big level to jump, and it's really difficult to do that alone. And you need a thing with business, you need a team, you need helpers and consultants and all this stuff. It's not a one woman job, it's not a lone ranger job. That's the myth of the patriarchy. They all say like you're a bro in a business suit and you can do it all on your own, but that's a lie, because we can't. We're priestesses, we work in communities, we can't do it that way. I remember I was talking to Kris and she was saying, well, okay, so you want to create this, how much? And I was thinking of offering like a teeny tiny price for it, like a teeny tiny price. And Kris said, okay, so to be able to do everything you want to be able to do, to be able to serve all these women, what is the price you need to receive in order to have the time to be able to do that for women? And that was a huge reframe for me, because when we're on this spiritual journey, we need to be paid so that we have the time to give that beautiful high level of service to our clients. And when we are not paid in a way that reflects that time, we only have time to do a crap job for our beautiful clients who we want to give and give and give and give and give them everything we possibly can because we love them so much. But if we're not getting paid enough, we're not going to be able to do that. And I remember that was a really big thing that you said to me a long time ago that really shifted how I started charging for my work, and it really shifted how much I was able to give and create for my people. Because if I kept that teeny itty bitty weeny price, I would have a crap job for first year mystery school, because I wouldn't have had the time to invest in creating everything I needed for it. I wouldn't have had the ability to be present because I would have to hustle and do all this side stuff to be able to be there. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah, I remember that conversation. And I think it was coming from my own experience. I mean, I've made all those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I had a business school and didn't charge enough money for it. And then in the end, yeah, I had to do all these other jobs, all these other things to make enough money. And then how really effective was I as a mentor and as a support system for these women?
Oh,
money at a and time to really put into the people that are signed up for whatever your mystery school, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. And this is where we have to really reframe as priestesses, because so in case you're not familiar with priestesses, if you're from my side, you'll know all about it because it's literally all I talk about. If you're from Kris's side, you might be a bit less familiar. A priestess is someone who works in sacred, devoted service to the divine. And that devotion and that service is the core of what it means to be a priestess. And I guess I'm quite an obvious priestess because a lot of my work is about the goddess. Unlike the Jehovah's Witness, the doctor goes, knock, 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 do you have time to talk about Venus? That's my job. It's nice and obvious. But you can be a priestess in so many other ways, because a priestess is just someone who is devoted in service to healing the world through the divine feminine lens. Yeah. And that means you can be a priestess who is a massage therapist. You can be a priestess who's an ADHD coach like Megan is. You can be a priestess who helps other people put their graphic design together for their beautiful offerings. Yeah. You are serving and tending the world. And when we are shifting into this service, and we're not making it about, oh, how much am I worth? Oh my God, I can't possibly charge that. Oh, that's what this person charges, and she's 10,000 times more fancy than we are. When we shift out of that lens of it being about us and our ego and our what we're allowed and what we're not allowed, and we shift into this more expansive vision of, okay, I'm a priestess, I'm here to do service, I am here to serve, and we have that distance, because it's that flip side of you are your work. I am my work. My brand is me, and my work comes from me. But also, I am not my work, and my work is something completely different to me. And I have to value that slightly separately from myself. Does that make sense, Kris? Just checking.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like some people get caught up in one side or the other side. Mm-hmm. It's not about me, or it's all about me. And mm-hmm. that's the thing. It's the both and. Mm-hmm. Because you are your personal brand. I mean, or even your company. It's like you're showing the company, the offers that you make, all of that is part of your brand. And brand is, for a priestess especially, is personal development. It's like, mm-hmm. that's, your brand is you. It's an extension of your soul, right? And at the same time, if you make it all about yourself, you can't expand. There's no expansion in making it all mm-hmm. about yourself.
And when we say make it all about ourselves, often our egos, when we think of the ego, it goes, oh, we're making it all about ourselves. And we're thinking, oh, I'm fabulous. It must be all about me. I need all the attention. Our ego can swing that way, and it can swing the other way. And if we're going, oh my goodness, this isn't fair, I need to make this more accessible to everyone because I'm not worth that amount of money, that's you making it all about yourself. If you're feeling anxious about charging for your work, or even saying you have something to sell because you're worried about the fact that you're not good enough, or the fact that you are not worth it, or that other people are better than you, or it's not perfect, that's you making it about yourself, and your ego trying to trick you into thinking you're making it about other people. That's a trick that your mind will play on you. But anytime you get stuck in that place of I'm not good enough, you're making it about yourself, and you're getting in the way of all the women, the men, the people who need your service. So this is why when we are doing business, us a lot, we have to approach it from the priestess lens, because we are in service to the work. Okay, my job as a priestess is to teach people about Morgan Le Fay and about Venus, and to yammer on about business and money a little bit in my spare time. Yeah. Yes. If I make that about me, and I know for me, for sure, I have a very big, negative self-critic. If I make it about me and listen to that self-critic, I won't do anything, and nobody will be helped. And the work is something separate to you. It's an offering that you give the world, and you have no idea who is going to be taken and changed by that work. You don't know. So this is the part of business that is the faith of the priestess. You have faith in your work, and you just put it out there out of this devotion and service, so that whoever needs it will get it. It's not about whether you believe it's good enough, because it's not in your hands. You're a priestess. You're doing this for the goddess. You're doing this for the divine. This is your offering to the divine, and it's not up to you if it's good enough. It's always up to her if it's good enough. And it's not up to you if someone else will think it's good enough. It's up to them. And if they need it, that even if you think it's shit, and you think you could have done 1,000 times better job, and that you are not good enough to be doing this, oh no, woe is me. And that's my sad little comfort place that I go to still sometimes, because that's how my brain works. Even though you feel that, you still have to show up and give it, because it's not about you. And that's why we need this separation as priestesses. It is about us. It's about us and our work and our energy and our brand and everything. But the work isn't about us. And this work is the act of devotion, giving it to the world in faith that it's going to serve the right people. And this is why we have to reframe it, not as a business that we have to market like, all those hustle bros and all that. You need a funnel and it needs to have six things and 12 products, and you have to be on Facebook and Instagram and all this. Without, we can't focus on all that stuff, because we tend not to be structure oriented people. I mean, me and Kris have got a lot of Capricorn in our systems, but even us, we're priestesses, we're visionary, we live in this realm of creation, we live in this shifting intuitive magic, and we have to approach this business stuff from a different lens. Like, I follow people who are amazing. I wish I could be like them sometimes, but they're not on the priestess lens, and they are very systems, marketing, stats. Oh yeah, just working really hard, just doing this and sorting stuff out. And that doesn't work for me. And every time I try and make it about making money or coming at it from a more normal world perspective, it just messes up. Have you got any thoughts on this, Kris?
I think you've really nailed it. You've said it. I think the the reframe for me so long ago was all about pleasure and about filling myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, it's similar, your own, doubts, your own fears, your own inadequacies. And you're not trying to be something you're not. Like you said, you're not trying to be, Miss, Tony Robbins, or, Brendan Bouchard, like all those marketing people, or even like Marie Forleo, who is, a female, but she does her marketing in a very masculine way. I think in general, she's super like this, but it works for her. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But for many of us priestesses and spiritual women who really see our work and want to frame it in a work that's sacred, we do have to approach it differently and embody those goddess qualities around money, around visibility, as opposed to, putting on a mask of something that doesn't, isn't really who we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And I so feel what you said there, and I hope I remember what you said, because I need to come back to that later, because it's perfect. And yeah, Marie Forleo is a perfect example of someone who, like, everyone ends up seeing Marie Forleo because her stuff is on point and her marketing is so effective. But I can't do it that way. I've really, really tried to do it from the Marie Forleo lens. I didn't buy her programs, but I listened to her stuff, and just, I can't do it that way. And even though doing it the way we do it, the priestess shift, is a bit different, it is essential for people like us, because we just can't, just doesn't work. And that's why I feel so many women who are coming to the spiritual path of entrepreneurship, they are so turned off and freaked out by marketing, because it seems like this terrifying, it's this double whammy of something that doesn't align with their soul, because they're trying to do it that way. They're trying to do it Marie Forleo and Brendan Bouchard and the Tony Robbins way, and that big expansive way of doing stuff. I don't know how Tony Robbins do stuff. I just know that he's a giant man and he's very loud. And we all freak out because that doesn't feel in alignment with who we are and our spiritual work, which is so much softer and more visionary, and we just can't, bro. We just cannot. And at the same time,
but the one thing that they do,
yeah,
that I wanted to just interject, that, and I tell this to so many women who, you know, we'll talk about visibility, I'm sure, but a lot of women who are like, oh yeah, I just don't feel like I have permission, or I don't, oh, should I tell people about what I'm offering? And then, I mean, if you look at like, a Tony Robbins, is he asking people for permission? Oh, can I tell you about what I have to offer? No, these people do not ask for permission. So I feel like that's one area that if you want to get a good example of putting yourself out there, we don't need fucking permission from anybody to show up and be fucking awesome. All right, I'll stop.
You are so right. And I want to talk about that, but I just want to ask anyone listening, is my microphone rattling? If it is, I will take it off because nobody wants that on the recording. This is the thing, and this is the legacy from that poor little martyred wife and that collective unconscious. We feel like we need that permission, and like women entrepreneurs, we just kind of fold all over ourselves that if we're allowed and if we're good enough and could we possibly ask for that much money. If you want to think about, okay, there's a dude that does exactly the same thing what you do. His name is Brad. Is he going to have any of these issues? No, he's not. He's just going to tell everybody all the time how they can pay you money, and then he's going to take your money, and he's not going to be as good as you. He's not going to be as good at what you do as you are, but he doesn't care because he has all the confidence in the world and none of this women wound stuff. And that stuff is very hard to get over on our own. We need a team and we need people to help us do that, because women, we work in community. And that's the other thing about being a priestess in business. You can't be a priestess in business on your own. Priestesses are always about community. Priestesses were at the center of their communities, okay? Priestesses were the temple at the center of all community life, officiating the ceremonies, keeping the calendar of the year, making sure everyone had time off for all those crazy festivals they had in ancient Greece. And also, they were not living in poverty. The temples were the rich places. The temples were the places where they would get everything they needed and able to do their work, okay? Priestesses are not witches living in the woods, scraping away a living off mushrooms they find and like whatever rabbit they manage to catch, until somebody comes from the town to go, oh, please, I need you to help me with my broken toe, and gives them some grain. We are not those. We are not the witches, the outcasts, the under trolls, okay? We're the priestesses, we're the center, and that wealth and that abundance is how we're supposed to be. And there is nothing, I feel very strongly about money being very, very important, and that everybody watching, you all need more money. You all need more money in your hands, because to create great social change, and we're at this huge turning point in our mental world right now where everything is changing. To get social change going in the right direction, you need power, and to get power, you need money. You need to be able to fund the thing. So to make a big difference, yeah, it's going to be so much easier to help with all the people in Afghanistan, for example, and give funding to that if you have money to fund that with. Yeah. So we need spiritual people with money. I can't even, Kris, I feel so strongly about this. Like, if all of us had the kind of money that Jeff Bezos had, we would be changing the world. And it's so important for spiritual, big-hearted women to get that money, because we are the ones who will make a big difference in the world, for sure, like 10,000 times.
Yes. Oh, sister.
Okay. So we've jabbered. I want to get back to the things I promised we would talk about. So when we're thinking about this reframe from business and doing business into being a priestess with business, we need to get that reframe straight away. We need to understand that, okay, I'm not just someone, an entrepreneur hustling away trying to make money. I'm a priestess in service to my sacred work that I have been given by the gods, and I am in devotion to this work. I am in devotion. This is how I serve the goddess. This is how I serve the world. I am a priestess in service. Boom, that changes the game. And then when we are working to really, yes, we'll talk about that, Megan, for sure. When we're really working to stop being that martyr, stopping undercharging and keeping on overgiving and undervaluing ourselves, there are some really core archetypes we really need to work with to step out of that place where we feel like we need permission and we're not allowed, and into a place of power where we can really, really do our work in the world. Because it's not about us, it's about the work. Yeah. And we're just the vessel it comes through. Okay. It doesn't fucking matter what we feel about it. Like, we have to do the work. That's our sacred task. Yeah. So one of the very big archetypes we've talked about already is the priestess, coming at it from that lens of sacred service and devotion. And for us witches and super spiritual people, the priestess also encompasses that connection to the divine and that acknowledgement that our work doesn't come from us, it comes from something else, and it has a higher octave to it. Yeah. It isn't just about, oh, 4-hour work week, how can I make 10 grand a month without doing anything? That's not where we're coming from. We're coming from this place of, right, we're doing this in service. The divine is a big part. The unseen, the energetic realms are a really big part of our work, and we can't ignore that. Yeah, make sense? Anything to add on that, Kris?
Nope. You keep going forward, darling. I love it.
Cool. Do jump in whenever you want to say anything, Kris. I know I jabber a lot, but you have so many smarts and you're so valuable to me. Okay, so we have the priestess, and then we have the queen. And the queen is so fucking important when we're stepping into our power, because the queen holds the power, okay? And the queen holds feminine power. She isn't holding the power of the king. The king is more, in my lens, the king is more the outer and the action and the action and the, kind of the pokey sword and the doing stuff and the managing. Does that make sense? What is the king in your worldview, Kris, as opposed to the queen?
Yeah, the king is the container that, you know, it could be systems, it could be, you know, whatever holds the container for the feminine to really be in her feminine. So that there's, like, you know, there's obviously the inner masculine energy that, you know, that helps us feel safe. So when we step up there to be in the spotlight and be like, hey, I'm a priestess, I'm going to offer you, I do these beautiful things, blah, 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 blah. If we have a weak masculine energy, inner masculine, we're not going to feel safe. So it's definitely important. And to me, the queen archetype is also the part that regulates things. You know, she's the visionary. She sees all of the little pieces and can regulate for all the different archetypes. She's like a centering, grounding energy too, to me.
Yes, that is so perfect. I absolutely love your description of the queen versus the king versus the queen, because when I think about the king and queen, it often makes me think of that Shiva Shakti, where Shakti is like the wild, uncontrollable force of, and Shiva, might be getting completely wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm not. Shiva is the container that channels that into something, and they don't work without each other. Yeah, in that primal sense. So the queen really holds that.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. The queen really holds that, as you said, the vision and what is happening, and she holds that power and that energy. And as spiritual entrepreneurs, we really need to tap into the queen, not just because she grounds us, because we can get really stuck in shiny object syndrome and overthinking everything and getting really, really stuck in all this nonsense that we all get stuck in, and we try to kind of medicate out of it by scrolling Facebook for hours and hours and hours. She keeps us focused and out of that chaos. And also she challenges us to step into our power and give ourselves permission, okay? Because we need that permission from ourselves to be able to claim that power and go, okay, I'm in my queen now. If you would like to come to my dolphin massage class, here it is. Dolphin massage is great. You should totally come. Yeah. She gives you the power and the strength and the permission to go, yeah, we need dolphin massage. Right. We're going to do that. This is how we're going to do it. And then you give it to your king, and your king's like, right, how can I keep you safe, my queen? And then he creates the structure and the systems. Oh, I love that way of thinking about it, Kris. Thank you so much for giving me that juicy bit. So we really need the queen. The queen helps us get into our power. And to be honest, we don't just need one queen, we need a circle of queens. We need other women reflecting their queen back at us, so we have permission to do it too. That's how we work as women, and especially how we work as priestesses. It's not something we can do on our own so much. And the other archetype that is really, really important, I guess I would call it Venus, or the lover. It's that magic that Kris was talking about really filling yourself up and looking after yourself, and that pleasure thing that Kris is just, she's so good at this stuff. And it's why I keep Kris in my life, because she always reminds me to do the thing. Over kingness wants to go, I must do more, I must do more. She reminds me of the Venus and pulls me back to the center. So tell us about why the Venus archetype is so important for us as spiritual entrepreneurs.
Wow. Well, there's a big question. We don't have a ton of time, so I'll just try to like get to the essence of it. To me, this idea of, being a vessel for something, and there's obviously, we're vessels for a lot of different goddess energies and god energies, but the Venus energy is so powerful, is so magnetic, and she also delegates, there's, she has the queen attributes, but she ratchets it up like 10 notches, you know what I mean? So the goddess Aphrodite is so to me so potent for women. I mean, if we look at all the, thousands, millions of faces of goddess, Venus is like the Venus Aphrodite is like the original blueprint of the feminine soul and who we are at essence before people tell us who we are, before society tells us who we are. And they're, all the gods, Greek gods, including Zeus, everybody's afraid of her in the mythologies because she is considered the most powerful out of all the gods and goddesses.
Yeah, she's amazing. And also, Kris has a PhD in mythology, so no one knows this stuff better than Kris. She's
well, I don't know about that, but.
And with Aphrodite and that energy, exactly what you touched upon, it's that magnetism. And it's that when we think of business, we think hustle, 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 do. But Aphrodite and that Venus edge reminds us actually a big part of it is that magnetism. It's that pleasure. It's that kind of, I don't want to say getting our energy in the right place, because I feel like the whole beehive vibe thing is like a weapon of the new age community, just to keep us in that old good bad thing that kind of I don't enjoy. But it gets us in that place where we can really value ourselves, and we really value our time and our pleasure and our enjoyment. And when we do that, it ripples out into our work and everything else we do. And it also means that we can actually show up to do our work without hating it, because when we've been at this a long time, and I know there's been times in my life where I've done this and I freaking love my jobs. I don't think I've really ever done a job that I didn't really like. When you're not really feeding this well of Venus in your life and in your work, you don't like your job. even if your job is being a priestess, even if your job is being a professional maid, even if your job is being a full-time belly dancer, if you're not pleasured and enjoying and have that magnetism and flow, and just if you're not cultivating joy in every part of your life intentionally, work sucks. And it's just how it works. So we really need this essence of Venus and the lover to do our jobs properly. Otherwise, our work just kind of falls flat and we take everything so personally and we can't enjoy ourselves. And we're not here for very long. And we're fucking priestesses. And the point of a priestess is to celebrate life and enjoy it. That is the role, I feel, as a priestess. That's quintessentialized down to a T. That's what we're here to do, to celebrate life, embody it, be it, love it, live it. And that doesn't just mean we have to be happy all the time. It means when things are shit, we're there for when it's shit. And when things are good, we're there for when it's good. Yeah, it's that full being present of life. Yeah. Are there any other archetypes that you feel are really important for us as spiritual entrepreneurs, Kris?
Amen. Sorry, my internet went out. What did you say?
Are there any other archetypes you think are really, really important for us as spiritual entrepreneurs?
Oh my gosh. I think you've really nailed it. To me, also shapeshifter is a big one now, and you know, shapeshifter I think can include priestess, but it definitely includes other sorts of, you know, the shapeshifter and the shadow, which I think you get into a lot. I love your work. That's, to me, when I worked with you, the shadow work for me was so potent. You've done a beautiful job really showing us how, you know, how to play with the shadow and work with it and not try to squash it, which we know doesn't work, right? So I don't know if that's something you want to talk about today, but those would definitely be a part of, you know, our, you know, this beautiful golden opportunity as entrepreneurs to really put our healing work out there. We can't do it without the shadow, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And one archetype that just went as you were talking was the trickster. That is something we do need as entrepreneurs, because it's a trickster kind of situation and we need to be able to play with it so we don't drown ourselves in it. Yeah.
Totally.
Trickster is money is the spirit of the trickster. Let's be real. That's how money is. It's like, here I am. Boop, boop, I'm back. What are you gonna do to get me? Ooh, I didn't like that. Ooh, it's a trickster energy all around, and you can't take it seriously or personally, and you can't. Money is so loaded and it's such an important thing in our world. To survive, you need it, but as soon as you start getting heavy on it, it kind of just sluggishes along and it ruins everything. So you need that trickster energy to kind of lift it, I feel, a little bit. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, trickster is super. Well, shapeshifter kind of also runs. A shapeshifter is like trickster plus shadow. And money definitely has a trickster. I've never thought of money as a trickster kind of energy, but totally is. And money is definitely shadow too. You know, that's if we're not working with shadow, we're not going to be able to access that part of us that is prosperous, that part of us that is abundant, financially abundant. Because it's a game. It is a game. So it's playful. It is a game.
And yes. And you have to be able to play with the shadow so then it can change. Because again, when you put all that weight on it, it can't move anywhere. But when you lift it a little bit, it can. And Emma says in the comments that she thinks the mother archetype is really important too, because we need to learn how to mother ourselves more and be less critical and embracing of our flaws, and which are in fact our credentials. That's a beautiful way to look at it, Emma. And you're so right. And I really feel like that mother archetype really comes into the Venus thing. I feel everything leads back to Venus, if I'm being honest, but it's that self-care and exquisite self-care that's so important. And I know that Megan spoke earlier about feeling that it's really hard to be visible because at this time there's this ultra woke paradigm that can really kill creativity, and visibility seems freaking dangerous on all sides. And that's why we need the queen. And that's why we need to rise up into that state of power so we can be like, this is me. I give this to the world. And I mean, we live in social media time now, so people are going to be upset with us more than people will tell you how upset they are on the internet so much easier than they will in regular life. And it's having that power and that confidence to fucking do it anyway, and having that circle of queens to hold you as you step up into that space and help you deal with it if something bad does happen. Bad stuff happens a lot less than we think it does. I feel like that visibility and afraid that everyone's going to attack you thing, that's an inheritance from the witch wound and that not being allowed as a woman. And even if everybody does come and attack you, you'll survive. You'll keep going. People don't have very long memories on the internet. It's fine. And like, I mean, I've been in business for like 10 years. I've been running Rockstar Priestess in some form or another for like 7 years. And I just have the most wonderful people in my community. I'm so lucky. There are so many amazing people out there, and my community is so loving and honest and caring. And if you build the right community, and if you're lucky enough to get the right community, you'll be okay. And you don't have to be an activist in that way. You like, with business, you can be in business for your one service thing. You don't have to touch on all pieces of changing the world. And even with activism, you cannot be an activist for every single thing. You kind of have to pick your place to do it, I feel. Okay, little segue there. And I would love to talk about the getting pinged super hard. Okay. Okay, so I would love to talk very quickly about the 5 mistakes we have, and then I'd love to share with you something me and Kris have created that's fucking cool. So the things that we see women doing all the time, and just like the things that the women spiritual entrepreneurs do all the time, is that they do not ask people to buy their things, and or they make their stuff so difficult to pay for. Like, it will be hidden away on a tiny little thing on their website and nobody will be reminded to do it. And that's this visibility issue. Do you want to talk about that for just a short second, Kris?
Yeah, well, the short of it is that the you know, asking for the sale, telling people what you're doing, telling people you have something for them. It's a lot, you know, a lot of people, maybe they won't even send out to their newsletter list, or they don't post about it. And they wonder why no one's signing up, or why so few people sign up. And that is, you know, kind of this loop that I know a lot of women entrepreneurs get into. And I know I've made the same mistakes. And it does come from an unconscious place, an unconscious fear. So you hold yourself back, and, you know, it's a self-sabotaging behavior.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I mean,
and it's also, there's this kind of mantra, proverb, I do not know, in marketing, where people have to see your stuff at least 7 times before they'll buy it. And that's true. People have to see their stuff a lot. And like, even if there's something I want to buy from someone, I have to see it a lot to remember to pay for it, because nothing stays in this brain. And at the same time, we have a really big, strong feeling that if we keep selling stuff, that's all people see, and they think that we're greedy. But really, no one's actually noticed. No one's noticed how often you're like sharing stuff, because we are marketed at and advertised every second of every day in every era. If you're not interested, people just gloss over that bit and they don't see it. So the world isn't going to judge you if you go, oh, and by the way, I have this amazing offer to come and join you. If they're interested, they'll read it. If not, they'll just it just won't even register in their mind. People are just so used to it. Yeah, cool.
Totally.
Another thing,
that's again that's about making it about yourself instead of the other person.
Exactly.
What will they
so
think
right.
of me? What will they think of me if I tell everybody about this over and over? They're going to think you're a greedy bitch or whatever, you know?
Yeah, you're so right.
And
That's
all about
you
being
getting, it's you getting in your own way of being in service and making it about you. And it's not about you, it's about the people that need this program that you're offering. Another thing we see them do is, so we have them hiding their goods, we have them not asking for the sale, we have people waiting until they're perfect to be able to sell or share anything. Wait until they are the perfect super expert who is now really great at everything to do with sales pages and everything is perfect. And that's another classic self-sabotaging pattern that we see spiritual entrepreneurs falling into. Do you want to talk to that quickly, Kris?
Yeah. Well, and you know, the comparisonitis, you know, oh, I'm not glamorous like so and so, or I need to lose weight before that. That's one I get all the time. I can't do this program until I lose weight. I can't do this program until, my teeth are straight. It's like, yeah, I'm finally like going to fix my teeth, but I don't think people are not going to work with me, right? I mean, it's just, it goes back to that total self acceptance and self-love piece that Venus, that archetype helps us with. But yeah, until my website's done, that's another one. I can't sell anything. I know more successful, wealthy entrepreneurial women who don't have websites or who have super basic websites because they know the tools that we know, right, Demi, to do this, because you don't really need a website.
No.
It's that's a huge one. That's a huge one.
So true. And just as you were speaking, I was remembering a client that I worked with a long time ago who had this dream of really helping people with her practice and all the things that she'd learned from mentors. And she'd come out of corporate and she had this amazing, she was a shaman, she was a nutritionist, she wanted to do all this stuff to help people have the revolution that she had, but she ended up not actually doing it because she would go train with her spiritual gurus and be like, oh, well, they're so much better than me, so people should go to them and not me. No, the thing is, for the people that need your spiritual gurus, maybe some of them are okay and they're in the place to go to the people you learn from, but other people are too intimidated by those people. Other people are not in the place to be able to deal with that stuff, and they need your lens on it to be able to make themselves ready to go train with those gurus. Or maybe they just need you exactly where you are and they don't need all that stuff that your fancy teachers have had. Yeah. So there is value on every part of the journey. You're always teaching someone who's a few steps behind you. So you don't need to be at super captain awesome level. Another thing that we see women really struggling with is overwhelm, and just being so overwhelmed with where to begin and where to start. And oh my God, I need to get my business cards and my website. Like, I've never handed out a business card to anyone. I hate to think of how many hours of my life I have wasted thinking about business cards. And just that, for me, the overwhelm thing is more the mental weight of having to prioritize everything and not having any guidance or community to help go through that with. That's what it is for me. Is that what it is for you?
Huge priorities, what to prioritize, what to do first, which is, I think, something that we both have advised people on, because if you try to do it all at once, you're going to go out of your damn mind. There's no way.
Yeah. And all the stuff we get stuck on, like the websites and stuff, like you were saying, Kris, not actually that important. That's just busy work a lot of the time. And another thing that is so important for spiritual entrepreneurs is having a community and having support. And especially for those of us who are priestesses, we work in groups, we work in communities, and we need that people connection, not just because that's what keeps us okay and that's what keeps us surviving, and also because when we're in our shit, we cannot see our shit. It's like those hoarders programs, when you go to someone's house and they're a hoarder and they're like, this is fine, but you're watching it, you know that's not fine. You need someone outside to reflect back to you the things you can't see and give you the perspectives that you can't, because you think living in a house full of Coke cans is totally normal. Yeah, you need that outside reflection, and also you need that community to keep it fun and to not get lost in the heaviness of this, because this can get quite heavy when we're doing it alone. And oh, see you soon, Megan. This can get quite heavy when we're doing it alone, and it's just, you're not meant to do this alone. No one is meant to do this alone. Anything you'd add, Kris?
No, I think you nailed it. Awesome job.
Priestesses don't do this stuff alone. So me and Kris would love to share. We feel really, really passionately about this stuff. And I know in my personal work with clients, this turning priestessing into a vocation is coming up, and those steps into doing it is coming up, and that marketing freak out is coming up with my clients. And this is Kris's wheelhouse. She's been doing this for years. She's so good at helping people guide through this stuff. And we're pretty much sick of all these amazing spiritual entrepreneurs not making any money and feeling so alone and overwhelmed, because you don't have to feel that way. There is another way. And we just want to help everyone out. So we've created something. We just had this big inspiration to create this like last week, and we're rolling with it, and we want to invite you all along. So we're creating this really amazing course called Rebel Priestess Prosperity Coven. And what it is it's working with 4 core modules, which are the inner priestess, really connecting with the priestess part of being in business, really activating that higher self, divine service, and getting to the core of who you are as a priestess and what your service is. And quite handily, this also helps you with all your branding and all your marketing, because now you know exactly what your vibe is and what your essence is and what your message is. So then you can just lean into it hard and you're not lost anymore trying to figure yourself out. Works with that priestess energy. So we're reframing our whole business into service. We work with that Venus in one of our modules to really amplify that pleasure and that joy and that beauty, and making our business fun to be in, and making our lives fill ourselves up so much, so we have so much more to give for our clients, so much more to give to our people. And this is one of the things that I feel is really, really missing from like regular marketing programs, because without this, everything else falls apart. And I know for spiritual people in particular, I can't work more than like 25 hours a week if I am like pushing it at the moment, because we're just not designed to. We need so much more resourcing to be able to do this work. It's just what it is for spiritual people, I believe. Do you agree, Kris?
Oh yeah, because to do my work, I probably need at least an hour of meditation time, and I need to do my beach walk. There's so many, things that make me or help me stay in alignment that have nothing to do with what people would consider businessy stuff, right?
And that alignment is just so core when we're doing spiritual business and priestess work, because if you're not aligned, you're shaky, it doesn't work so good, and you can't be there for the clients in the way that they have hired you to be there for you. You guys rearrange that sentence so it works. Yeah, so we need that alignment. So we have the priestess, we have the Venus, we have the queen. Oh my God, we need that queen. And that queen brings in that hard energy of power, taking up space, being visible, and also brings in those king qualities of, okay, so what does this look like? How do I bring down this beautiful idea for a program and actually make it into something that works? Yeah, so in our queen module, we both work with that shift into giving ourselves permission and building each other up as queens, and shifting from that, oh no, I'm so overwhelmed, I can't possibly decide to, right, okay, boom, no, I want this is my vision, and having your whole coven of sisters going, by the way, you're really committed to this. And then you go, oh yeah, I remember. Because we need a lot of reminding on our entrepreneurial path for sure. And then giving you everything you need to be able to really hold that vision and put it in place. Building your community, sorting out your offers, really translating how you share those offers, the marketing, the copy. Like Kris has been doing this for like 1 billion years. I have been on a crash course in fire for the last 10 years, figuring out how to really make business work and do the copy and figure out how to sell stuff. Yeah. And this is what the queen brings to us. And the last module we really work with is the shadow. So I have been studying shadow stuff for like 7 years, maybe longer. I don't know. And we can't do this without breaking through our big shadow beliefs and fears. Like, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, money isn't good for spiritual people. If I get power, I'm just going to be a douchebag. If I make money, I'm just going to irresponsibly spend it. No one will like me if I have money. All these things and stories and things on repeat that come up. We work to just get rid of all those fuckers because they're not helping you, and you have a sacred service that is going to help change the world, maybe in a little ripply way, maybe in a huge way. I don't know what you do. You don't know what your work's going to change into, and that's the priestess. We are in faith, knowing that our work has something to offer the world, but we don't know what that's going to turn into at all. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Those modules, or anything you'd like to add, Kris?
No, I think you're on a roll. I'm just going to let you just wind you up and watch you go, girl. If I think of anything, I'll break in.
Awesome. Boom. So Rebel Priestess Prosperity Coven is a 4-month deep dive super mastermind coven experience. So what we do is we group together in our coven, and this is the core. It's the sisterhood. It's the ability to have connection with other women on the same path as you, because when women gather, we rise. When we all put our intention to the same thing, we rise. And when we all get to do this together, it turns into fun and a party and a great time. And that's what we want. We need more fun in our lives. We want to make our businesses so joyous to be in. So we have our Prosperity Coven. We have our 4 months of to go through our 4 modules, and also every single month, no, that's a lie, every single week, so that's 16 weeks, we have a business Q&A call with us, either both of us, one of us, or the other of us, every single week. So you can just bring your business questions, your marketing copy, your sales pages, your branding, your I'm not sure how to share this with people worries, or all that stuff. You can bring it to us and we'll go fiddle, and we will help you, because this is what comes up in my client stuff at the moment. People have marketing questions. People need support on their journey, and we just want to 100,000% support you in every single way we possibly can, so you can do your work in the world. And Emma, yes, this is suitable to somebody who has an idea rather than actual business, but only if you are prepared to actually make that idea real, because I will kick your ass, and so will Kris. We're not having you join this coven and you not having something and not selling something. That's not the deal. If you join it and you have an idea, we make sure that you put that idea in motion and you sell it, because we are queens and we are witches on the rise, and we are here to make money. We are here to do huge service in the world. And I know that my speciality is getting that idea down and zoom, making it a thing, so you're just ready to go. And if you if you sign up, there's a bonus that will be very helpful for you, Emma, in particular. Yeah. So we have our coven, and we do that on Facebook. We have our membership site where all our beautiful modules live, and those modules consist of worksheets, workshops, meditations, prayers, workbooks. All this shit is basically whatever we feel you guys need and helps you, we put that in there for you. Kris is so great at all this stuff, and she has so many amazing resources, and I have so much from the priestess side that comes in and really clicks with this path, so we energetically get in the right place to do this. And we also have, what's the other thing we do? We have our coven, we have our modules, and we have our 16 weekly business Q&A sessions. So we can just support you through anything that you need. Makes sense? So at the moment, this is the first time we're running this. When we sort this out, we're doing it kind of, this is our first run. When we sort this out properly, and when we've done our first run through of Prosperity Coven, it's going to be a powerful vortex. I'm so excited about Prosperity Coven. This is something that's been in the back of my mind for a while. The price is going to be $5,555, but this fall it's just going to be, this autumn, English people, it's just going to be $3,333, and that's for 3 months. Nope, that's for 4 months of super support, ass kicking, resources, literally having your Venusian business dominatrix, Kris and Demi, here to kick your ass and kick you into shape and to remind you to look after yourself and make sure you do that thing on Friday. And oh, okay, we all need to have a how to do Facebook Lives party. I'm going to check on you and make sure you did that Facebook Live. Okay, so you have all that support you need for those 4 months. If you pay in full, you also get an audit and review of your website by me and Kris. So basically we go over everything you do and we just have a look at all your current website and social media copy and your branding. We just suggest improvements, help tweak you in the right direction. We help you with literal copy edits, tweaks, done for you templates, whatever we think you need, so that you can start making big changes to your business that make big shifts right away without having to wait for our class to start. So our class starts in October. So if you paid in full, you would get your full audit done in September. You have September to just twinkle away and get your ideas down. And also if you pay and you join up, if we're paying full, within 24 hours of this webinar or within 24 hours of booking a chat with us, because we know that these are big commitments and investments, and we get that. So if you would like to talk to us just to make sure it's right for you, and we are always on your team. We are never ever pushy. We just want to make sure you're in the right place and getting what you need. So if in that call we're like, okay, right, well, you need something that's different, or we know someone else who would be better fit for you, we'll send you on your way. We're just here to make sure that you are becoming a rich priestess. That's what we want. So if you pay within 24 hours of this webinar, or within 24 hours of a chat with us, you get a super crazy bonus that Kris tried to get me to not put in because it was a bit much, but we're doing it anyway. You get a full 4 hours of private time with me and Kris. So that means you get 2 hours with me. And for example, for you, Emma, what we would do is we would get that idea down into a structure, into an actual proper on paper. So it's not visionary anymore. You're like, okay, these are my modules. This is how it is. This is going to be the pricing. Oh, I understand how I'm going to format this. So we really work to just get whatever it is you need in place. So then when we begin in October, you're ready to go. That's what you do with me, with my one, because I'm very like practical business, physicality stuff. And with Kris, well, Kris is an absolute branding legend, and she's so good at copy, and she's also phenomenal goddess channel and an amazing tarot reader. So you kind of get to pick what you need from Kris. Is that right, Kris?
Yeah, so what I do, if you do want the fast 24-hour bonus of the basically VIP time with Demi and with me, I do where I pull in your goddess. We look at your goddess archetype, we get information, so I can help you with core messaging, like this is the message you really want to be putting out there. And then what other, all the other goddess information and advice that comes through for you about your business, and really getting you up to speed as quickly as possible so that you're making more money. that's what I, really focus and my intention, and I know Demi's intention. So this is, I guess my side is, it's like it's core messaging, core branding, and it's also from a more intuitive channeling perspective, as well as the practical. But does that make sense? I think that's the best way to explain it.
That makes perfect sense. You're our business oracle. And I'm there.
Oh,
Okay,
like
let's write this on paper. Let's sort out how can we make this money? Yeah.
Yeah. And so Demi and I are going to be talking about all of you and all of your offers and be like, oh my God, this is so amazing. So we'll be we'll really be paying attention to what you're doing and how we can really help you move forward with speed and in a graceful way, of course, not in a, not in that way, but in a, yeah, baby, juicy, pleasurable way. That's, we're mermaids too, right?
Yeah. And this is why we do it in a coven, because we build on each other's power, success, beauty, and we amp each other up for celebration and fun and joy, because fuck doing business when it's boring. No, we're going to come together in a coven. We're going to make literal magic and spells and business Q&As and copywriting workshops and everything from a lens that suits you in your authentic priestess self, rather than it's pushing you to try and do something that feels just wrong on every level of your being. So Rebel Priestess Prosperity Coven is going to begin in October. You have until October to join. But if you want to make the most of these beautiful offers, I would join as soon as possible. If you want to talk to me or Kris about it, just send us a message. We would love to chat to you about this. We are so excited about the Prosperity Coven. I will put the link to the payment below. If you're like, fuck yeah, I want this. Hurry up, Kris, give me what you need. If that's you, I'll put the link below. If you want more information, just send us a message and we'll give you everything you need to make sure you become the richest priestess that you can possibly be. We know you're really bored of trying to make money and nothing happening. We've also done that and we're through the other side. We know how to get you through that quicker than we ever did. And we want you to rise into your spiritual power and your financial power. We're done with spiritual priestesses not making money. We're just done with it, aren't we, Kris? We're done.
Totally, completely. And you made a beautiful brochure, so maybe we could link.
Yeah, I'll pop the brochure below so you make sure you have everything about the program so you can have a think about it. Okay, my beauties, any questions before we jump off? I know Kris has to jump off very, very soon, as in like 30 seconds ago. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions coming through, so I am going to send you all so much love. Get in touch if anything comes through and you need some questions answered. We are here for you. We are opening the Prosperity Coven gates to let in our witches so that we can all become rich and fabulous and have a wonderful time and be supported in a way that we never ever thought was possible in business, because witches need support, priestesses need a team. We're going to rise together. Okay, my lovelies, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much, Kris, for being here and for joining me in this beautiful program. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye, beautifuls.